Hello, hello, welcome again to my studio. Today I'm going to show you how I experimented and painted this abstract expressive landscape painting using some unusual for watercolor tools and leftovers of paint from my palettes and India ink. So as I mentioned, I used leftover paint from my palette, India ink, a small twig, 4-inch household brush, toothbrush, and China marker. And I invite you to grab your painting materials and experiment with me. My name is Marta Nowicka. I am Polish visual artist based in the US. I am painter, abstract painter, printmaker. I also create digitally. So let's start. So I'm just starting with adding some China marker marks, and that will repel the water and watercolors and ink. So I will have a white areas. It's a bit like a masking tape, not exactly, but it can give you some nice textures. Using, unusual tools like this twig, something you can find in your backyard or at home, like fork or practically anything, allows you to be more creative, more spontaneous, and to get some unusual brush marks. So that's why I really like experimenting like this. Now it's time to add some water and the ink will flow beautifully. I really like this effect. Here you can see the white lines. These are lines from China marker. I will put link to my favorite watercolor paints, to the ink and to China marker and the watercolor paper I'm using, which I really like, in the description. So now I will be just adding layers of watercolors using toothbrush, brush, and getting more textures and more layers. If you haven't seen my any other videos, I have a playlist of mixed media art where I share my process in watercolors, mixed media, digital paintings, and I also have playlists with printmaking videos. So if you are into printmaking, you can also check them out. And also I have a playlist with reviews of art books. So I will put all the links to the playlist in the description, and you will also see them at the end of the video. So now I will leave you with some music. Enjoy the process, and I will be back in a couple minutes. As you can see, I had to change my water because it was really, really dirty from the ink, so I have a fresh one. I'm wondering, since most of you are probably right-handed, do you find it strange or weird seeing me painting with my left hand? Let me know in the comments. And also let me know what kind of art do you usually create. Are you also experimental in your nature? Do you like to play? Or do you usually work like with a plan in mind or with the reference photo? I usually create very intuitively and just explore marks, textures, layers, and play with paint and materials. If you like this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe, so you won't miss new videos, and you also help me to grow my small channel, which I really, really appreciate. So yeah, so let's continue with painting. Here I decided to lift some of the paint, so I'm wetting the paper and trying to remove some of the paint with the kitchen towel. So this is dry, and I decided to add more marks with this little twig, more lines, so I have a different marks, different edges, sharp versus soft. So I'm adding lines. I'm usually trying to add some diagonal lines which add more dynamic to the painting. So that's what I'm doing right now. I like having some vertical and horizontal lines, or like diagonal like this. So basically I'm adding more lines and more dark value in the painting. And here is the final painting after drying. I hope you enjoyed this process. Have fun with experimenting with unusual tools. Let me know in the comments how did you like it. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos, subscribe, and see you next time.